technology and AI expert, Dan Södergren. Hello, Dan.
Hi there.
Is this an irrational boom?
Well, I do talk about AI, future work and technology, and I always say the human psychology is actually more important than the AI technology. So there are a lot of ifs to this. If we are in this thing, which I call the fifth industrial revolution, and I wrote a book on it. Obviously, other books are available. Mine's okay. But if this is that the AI bit is like the electricity that powers this fifth industrial revolution, and AI is the intelligence, then yeah, this is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. Just imagine if one or two or three companies owned all the ability to manufacture and make and sell all the electricity in the world. It would be worth trillions of dollars. Now that's kind of what we're saying here, is the potential here is intense, it's immense. But of course, it doesn't mean that we didn't go through this kind of boom and slump before, this hype cycle, as we call it in tech. We've got to be a bit careful. Apple makes computers and mobile phones and things, and it's worth something like 3 trillion. NVIDIA that makes the chips, etc., is now worth 5 trillion. OpenAI might even IPO at 1 trillion, and yet they don't actually make any money yet. This all sounds very bubbly to me, but I'm old enough to have gone through the .com one.
Sure,
so that's why.
But are we just going to go through a situation in the end where there might be a bit of pain for some of these companies, but ultimately it's going to be Google, it's going to be Apple, it's going to be the giants that we fully know dominating the space. The others will either go to the wall or, I mean, some of them might come through, mightn't they? But the others will just be bought up by Apple and Google in the end. I don't know. Is that too cynical an approach? How do you think it might settle in the end?
Well, I don't think it's too cynical, because if you look at the booms and slumps, as we say before, you can look back at the .com. Now, you've got to remember, Amazon was around back then, and Amazon is now much bigger now, right? So you had this .com moment where everyone said, the internet's going to die and it's all over, and shares lost 95% of their value if you were doing Amazon shares at the time. But if you'd bought Amazon shares at the very first of their IPOs, it's something like it's like 1,000 times bigger now. Like the share price is 1,000 times bigger. Even if you bought it at the lowest dip of the .com crash, you'd make 720 times your money back. Now, that's insane, right? But that's where we are. And this is the weird thing. So if you look to the past, you can pretty much predict the future. It's kind of some of my job. Yeah. And you can definitely tell that we shouldn't really call it a bubble. It's more like a wildfire. It's more like a kind of a process, a natural process, which goes around and kills off all the smaller things, and the bigger trees still exist and survive. But we've got to be really careful, I think, as a society. It's whether do we want only 2 or 3 of these already massive tech giants to also own all the data and the artificial intelligence. I'm not 100% sure we do.
Which of the big boys aren't necessarily playing this as well as the others?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, lots of people think Apple aren't doing a great job because they're not doing a great job building AI stuff themselves. But I think Apple's being quite clever. They're keeping their cash. They're keeping their cash there, and as you say, when the bubble maybe bursts, maybe they'll go around buying all these companies pretty quickly, and they'll actually do very, very well because of it. You could argue, and this is maybe why the CEO of Google came out. Google seems to be lagging behind in a variety of different ways. Also, it seems to be a little bit too diverse in what it's doing. But you look at other companies like Anthropic with Claude and these other ones that exist, and you actually realise there is a market here for specialist AI and much cleverer companies that are much smaller, but actually that might be the opportunity. And actually, if you really get geeky about it, the open source model around AI, that actually might be even more of a problem for those massive tech incumbents, because it could be the fact we all start owning our own AIs and training them ourselves. And of course, they don't want that because they want the data and they want the power.
Yeah, exactly that, and make money from it above all else. Go on, mention the book, Dan. Go on.
But thank you, right? It's the fiftindustrialrevolution.co.uk. But other ones do. They're out there.
Yeah,
Please do read. And don't get your AI just to read it. It's worth a read.
Okay. Joke. Very good, very good. Thank you very much indeed, Dan. Dan Södergren, technology and AI expert. It's coming up to 22 minutes past 5.